All right, so here we are today, Saturday, November 5th, 1:53 p.m. I stayed in bed this morning so that I could listen to Premier League on the radio, forgetting that there was not a Premier League match until 11 a.m. our time. So I listened to the radio. I still didn't get out of bed. And when I eventually did, because nature called, I just went ahead and left my bedroom door open so that when Walt woke up, I would know it and we could get on with things. And then I just chose to sit and watch what was one of several very interesting matches this morning. Hard to just pick one. I kind of wish I'd have done the whole goal zone thing where it's like red zone for soccer. Anyway, I had a couple other little chores to do this morning. Got that taken care of. And as I was preparing to come out here, and it was 12:15, 12:30. No, that's not right. The time zone difference between us and the UK is messing me up. It was a little after 1, going on 1:30. And I walked through the living room, and Walt is watching Shawshank Redemption. And I just said what he used to always say when me or one of my brothers would do something a little on the bonehead side. Unbelievable. And he said, "What? What did you say?" Because I really don't know. I don't think he heard me. I wasn't trying to not be heard, but I'm used to not being heard and sometimes just being ignored. And I said, "It's unbelievable." He said, "What is?" That with all the games that are on right now, because at that point, all the noon kickoff football, college football games had started. I said, with all the games going on right now, you're watching a movie you've seen 8,000 times. Now, personally, I don't care. I really don't. I don't care what he watches, except for the fact that he asks me every day about the games. He's been asking me about fucking Georgia and Tennessee since Sunday. I said, it's Sunday. They don't play till this Saturday. And every day, he's asked me or mentioned the Georgia-Tennessee game, which is at the same time as his alumni, the institution of which he is an alum, is playing. So with that, like I said, every day. Oh, Chrissy, I want to see that Georgia-Tennessee game. Chrissy, when's the Georgia-Tennessee game? Boy, I can't wait for that Georgia-Tennessee game. Chrissy, when's the Georgia-Tennessee game? You know what he said this morning? This was beautiful. I thought I might have been being punked. He said, "Chrissy, don't forget Georgia-Tennessee." Fuck me. Are you kidding? How could I? I said, how can I forget? You won't let me. Oh, God. And I know, I don't know. I'm telling myself it's the fragility of his mind in his current state of health. But there is a small part of me that also thinks, this asshole's never listened to anybody. You can tell him things and he doesn't hear. He ignores it, or he just in one ear and out the other, which I guess is the same as ignoring it. Chrissy, don't forget. Oh my God. Anyway, so when I did walk out here, eventually he was watching, I don't know, some random college game. There's only about 10 of them on. Okay, let's look here. ACC Network, SEC Network, both ESPNs, CBS Sports, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. There's at least 9, if not more, games for him to choose from. Fucking A. Shawshank's a good movie, but my God, he has so ruined that movie for me. Oh man! And now there's a Premier League match on, and he's watching a college football game he doesn't give a shit about. And in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, a week and a half, when the Premier League has to go on break for World Cup, he'll say something about it every day. Chrissy, can't wait for Premier League back. Chrissy, when does Premier League get back? Chrissy, can't wait to see the Premier League back. Oh, Chrissy, I miss Premier League. And then when the games kick off on Boxing Day, he won't watch because Rocky or Rambo will be on. Just have to shake my head and laugh, or else I'd seriously consider putting a sledgehammer in his skull. Which may at some point be a viable option, but anyway. So be it. I'm just going to watch Premier League and flip over at the appropriate time to watch some of the college football games. All while hopefully getting in some meters. So yesterday's workout, the back and forth between the rower and the skier and mixing in weights, has me a little sore. It has not filled me with the urge to sit down and row. Sorry, I had a Pink Floyd lyric stuck in my head. Oh well. It's a rainy day. Nice temperature, but rainy. So I'm probably not going to do any weighted walks. Not at the moment anyway. Maybe if the rain dissipates. That was kind of on the plan for today. My driveway's got some leaves on it. So let me ask you. Am I the asshole? My neighbor, young guy, cut his grass yesterday. The edge of his front yard is lined with trees that the previous resident planted. Now I say previous resident because this home has been owned by the current resident's family for quite some time. It's just been that different people have lived there over time. First of all, their oldest son lived there. He moved out. This other guy moved in that apparently worked for them. And he did some renovations and upgrades and stuff while he lived there. And I what the financial or business agreement was, I have no idea, don't care, none of my business. But he planted trees that are on the edge of his front yard. However, where they are located and the way that the wind patterns go, most of the leaves come over on my yard. Now, normally, not a big deal. But I am still only 6 or 7 weeks out from overseeding and aeration. I don't want it covered up with leaves. He cut his yard yesterday, and every time he passed anywhere near the edge of the yard, he had his mower facing to blow everything in my direction. I thought, motherfucker. And I'm not obsessive about my driveway being clear, but when it's dark, which it always is here, there are no street lights, and my motion light only goes so far. When it's dark, and especially when it's raining, it's hard to see at the edge of my driveway. So if you're backing out, or backing in as I usually do, it's hard to see. So I kind of want it cleared off a little bit. And it just was stewing in me as he was doing his yard and I'm exercising, that at one point, near the end of my workout yesterday, I just went ahead and grabbed my blower and went out and blew everything off, blew it in his direction. I didn't blow it on his yard. Blew a whole lot, most of it, out into the ditch and the road. It's not even worth saying anything about, though, right? Am I an asshole if I say something to him? Like, dude, cut your yard like I do, so everything that you cut goes towards the road, not your neighbor. I don't have any trees on the side of my house that is closest to my other neighbor. So when I cut my grass and I blow things his direction, it's just cut grass. And very little of it at that. Certainly not leaves. So I think I'm going to have to cut my yard at least one more time before the winter slows the growth. I think I'm going to have to come up with another way to do it to blow the leaves back in his direction. And at least get most of them off the front yard the proper front yard proper. I say front yard proper. I have a little section of my quote unquote front yard that's separated by the rest of it, from the rest of it by the driveway. Anyway, I guess saying anything would make me an asshole. But he does it all the time too, even with grass, which I don't like his yard stuff. Because they had a tree removed from their front yard, kind of like I did. And, you know, when you do a stump grind like that, you end up with little wood chips everywhere. And every time he cut the grass, he'd be spraying wood chips over my driveway. Now, could have done the same thing like I did with the leaves and just got my blower out and cleaned it off. However, with my feet like they are, which was exemplified yesterday, if I step on a wood chip on a driveway, it could take me down, literally put me on the ground. Yes, I'm still hurting from yesterday. Anyway, just shut up and try to be a nice neighbor, I guess. There's a small, thin line between being a good neighbor and getting run over. Oh well. Not to mention the trees that are on his property on the back side of the house that I've had to trim more than once so that I can actually drive my truck in my backyard like I'm supposed to be able to. Pain in the ass. The original owner of the home next to us had hunting dogs. 3 if I recall. And as most hunting dogs are, they were barkers. A lot. And to help deal with the newness of the neighborhood and the lack of sound absorbing trees, he planted a handful, I don't know, 8, maybe more than that, pine trees around the concrete slab fenced in housing for his hunting dogs. Those trees are now 25, 30 feet tall. And of course, as they grew, they crept right over my property line and started to close off my access to my backyard with my truck. I can drive through the front yard and get around to the back, but I'm trying to get my front yard nice, and I don't want to drive through the front yard. I should be able to drive to the backyard down the side of my house like I have for 30 years. But I had to trim his trees. Trees that I don't think he gives a shit about. Third world problems, right? No, definitely first world problems. My neighbor's trees. I know. I should be glad I have a house. Best neighbor that ever lived died. Anyway, have hair on my face. Okay, enough flippity flapping. I need to get my ass in gear a little bit here. And I've talked for more than long enough, so may or may not be back with you. Don't really know for sure. Either way, you know the rules. See ya.